Welcome, everyone, to Stay Curious. I'm your host, Mark Marquette. We're so glad you joined us today for a
Very
very
special
special
program
program
with
with
a
a
new
new
friend
friend
of
of
mine
mine
I'm
I'm
getting to
getting
getting
to
to know
know
and
and
looking
looking
forward
forward
to a
to a
long
long
relationship
relationship
with
with
Mr.
Mr.
Don
Don
Hartsell.
Hartsell.
Don,
Don?
it's a pleasure to be here, Mark.
Well,
Well, welcome
welcome
to
to
Stay
Stay
Curious
Curious
here.
here.
You
You
got
got
your
your
friend
friend
here,
here,
Mark.
Marcus. Hello to you. We might swing over there, Marty, in a minute or two and show you that these men are colorful dressers just like myself. But why we've got Don here is, as you see, he's the commissioner and founder of the World Air League that has to do with our green screen here. You might call them dirigibles, they're airships, and you want to have a race or races around the world with airships sponsored by the major companies of the world and others, right?
That's what we want to do. What we want to do is we want to inspire people around the world to just simply do something that is so important to us all, and that is go outside and look up. There is the very beginning premise of excitement and an epic story.
Absolutely. And you all know me as an amateur astronomer, and we talk about it, Don, a couple times a month at least. Is I just tell people get away from your phones and your everything else and go outside and sit in your backyard, and you won't believe the airplanes, the satellites that are flying over your head. You'll hear the neighbor's dog barking, and you didn't know the neighbor had a dog because you're inside all the time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this is part of it, and we can't show the video when we're going to get the capabilities to do that. But Don's going to tell us where to go to their website, and you see this video of the concept of these airships flying over uh, the great monuments of the world, like this is the Egyptian pyramids type of thing. And here's the tease that we have for today's show over the wouldn't that be cool to be in Paris and see a dozen airships in competition now? This is a play for pay type of situation that you want. So, Don, I'm just going to kind of welcome everybody watching. Stay curious today, Marty. I didn't bring my phone over here. If you got some questions, Marty will filter them down to you. We've got over 100 people watch us every day, and Monday through Friday. Those of you just joining us, we are the American Space Museum in downtown Titusville, where we celebrate the birth of America's space age, right where it all began, right here in Brevard County. Uh, we're 3 blocks away from our beautiful Spaceview Park, where there's 30 astronaut handprints in bronze, the only place in the world you can put your handprints on John Glenn's and to Gene Cernan, the last man on the moon. And we're very serious about our space workers. Our space workers are national treasures, Don. Like my partner for over 5.5 years and 1,400 episodes of Stay Curious, Marty Winkle, running our Streamlabs program today. He worked on the lunar module as an electrical engineer, and then he worked on the shuttle engines. Over 30-year career out there to Space Center, which is just 9 miles away. And about 5:10, I think a rocket launch is supposed to go off. A Starlink Falcon 9 lifting off. So we might hear the roar in the background if we go that long. But Don, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up? I've talked to you several times. This man's coattails, you would love to be, or maybe in his suitcase, because you've had a very interesting life and you've been in a lot of neat places. And I'm happy that you can culminate this with such a grand endeavor here at this stage of your life. So, where'd you grow up?
Well,
What's your background? What's
before
this
I
all
get
about?
into that, I'm going to say, Mark, thank you. Marty, thank you. This is a cool place to be. And if y'all have not been to this museum, you need to come here. This is a fun place. It has a trove of things that are important to us, our culture, and who we are. So, with that, I will start answering your questions.
Thank
But
you.
what y'all are doing, we're here to say thank you.
Well, I'm a good judge of character, I think, but I also the last 5 years, I've run into some people like Chris Calley and Mitch Rothman that have become not only supporters of our museums, but good personal friends of myself. And what can you ask for when you get a little gray hair and some some road time behind you,
Hmm.
that you meet great people like yourself here.
Well, the thing
So
is, what we all have is our horizons, the ones that we keep our stars above and where we chasing and what we're after. And so where I'm from Texas.
okay.
All right. And the way we're raised in Texas is we're raised to hell. You're from Texas, you got to think big and you got to be big. And I'm only quoting my grandfather.
What town?
I was born in a little town called Paradise.
Uh-huh.
Paradise, Texas. It's north of Fort Worth and
Okay.
just some more south of Oklahoma.
All
Good
right.
place to be.
Okay.
And so I've lived all over Texas and, Amarillo, Fort Worth, Paradise,
My sister lives in
Dallas.
San Angelo
Hmm.
over
That's a
35
that's
years.
a grand little
West
place.
Texas.
That's West Texas.
Yeah.
And so I've been lucky enough that Texas is home, and every time I come home, does not matter whether it's El Paso, Texarkana, Amarillo, or just simply the airport. The first thing I say is great to be back in Texas.
Hmm.
And that's how I think, that's how I feel. And so when I got my passport at the age of 21, and I'm looking at all these blank pages in that passport, I realized that that passport made me the ambassador for Texas. And I have traveled as the ambassador for Texas since.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Well, our museum's got a little association with a little place in Texas called Johnson Space Center,
Yes.
though we're more Kennedy Space Center, of
Mm-hmm.
course. But yeah, great state, no doubt about it. I love spent like I said, my sister lives in West Texas, and I love the Austin area
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. So your interest, just a thumbnail of what kind of career did you have that
Well,
led you to be the World Air League commissioner and founder of this awesome concept?
well, it starts with being a Sputnik baby.
Okay.
I can remember listening to every space shot that was either went up or was in essence postponed from the schoolyard at the elementary school in Fort Worth. And, I listened to those countdowns and I literally am the product of the race for space. My entire approach to science, my entire approach to mathematics, to technology was inspired by our space program. And without it, I would not be who I am today. And I'd have to say, as inspired as a child as I was, I became a nerd. And somewhere along the way, I just kind of lost my way. I became a CPA.
Okay.
Then I became an attorney, but I found my way.
Really lost your
Yeah,
way.
and,
Yeah.
and and then I found my way back. I'm in my third year in law school. Third year in law school, and for some reason they made me the chairman for the Center for Applied Technology for the University of Houston, where I got to learn that beautiful art of begging. And
Okay.
and that is, hey, we've got this grad student over here. He needs some money so he can finish his research project so he can get his PhD. And so the art of begging is something that I had to learn for that. And
Yeah.
but what that did is it launched me into a career of technology development. And so I went from a CPA to an attorney to being an inventor. And one of my inventions was one where I called up Dan Niebrig, who is at Johnson Space Center, and I posed a question to him based on fifth grade science. And that is, if we put a vacuum on water, can we not make that water sublime rapidly, more rapidly with vacuum technology? And oh, by the way, if you say yes to that, I'm going to hire the curator of the Magna Carta, and we will develop the techniques of taking water out of paper using vacuum technologies. And so with that technology and capability and process we mastered, after all, NASA let me play with their toys for an entire week.
Hmm.
They gave me the engineers to do all this,
Nice.
and we ended up perfecting the process that was employed at the restoration for the Central Public Library for the city of Los Angeles. And to this day, I'm happy to say no one has beaten my record at being a part of the largest successful restoration of books in all of history, 1.2 million volumes.
Hmm.
And one of the reasons why I'm grateful that no one's broken my record, that means that there's not been a bad library disaster since
You're right.
like that. That is really the reason. But You know how every actor has their starting role that launches their career?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was mine. And that particular project, by having done that, it allowed me to go on and evolve and create other technologies, which almost always somehow centered around the properties of air. That being, industrial gases, vacuums, dehumidification. And so each and every one of them I got to employ
Hmm.
in a very, very odd way. So now I'm going to backtrack. And that is, how did this idea come to me?
Airships.
Airships. And it's not what you would think. It's not a passion for aviation at all, but instead the byproduct of 10 days of parties. And
Right.
I have, at the age of 23, I am not tending a bar. I'm not cleaning a machine. I'm not in some little office cubicle, with a 10 key trying to type out some numbers. Instead, I was unemployed. And so the American bicentennial was about to happen. So I'm 23 and I go, okay, are you going to go party at the age of 23 or are you going to wait for 123? And so what I did is I hitchhiked from Texas to be a part of the American bicentennial, and I was there at the very beginning. This includes July 2nd, 1976, at the ribbon cutting ceremony for the National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C.
My gosh.
That is something I got to participate in and
With
watch and be a
Michael
part.
Collins.
Yes.
Astronaut Michael Collins became the first director, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know any of this. I'm just a hitchhiker. And
Uh-huh.
I, so from there, it was to the National Archives where our President Ford, our Vice President Rockefeller, our Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, we all went into the sacred temple that has our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and our Declaration of Independence, and we were all there at that ribbon cutting ceremony, and that was the official opening of the American bicentennial at the National Archives with our president. And so I got to be there. I got to sign a document that's now going to be opened up in the tricentennial capsule that said I was there, along with all these others that were part of this moment in our history.
Hmm.
And that's the beginning of a 10-day party. And so from there, I hitchhiked up to Philadelphia, where I got to, well, can't do it with this as well, but I got to ping the Liberty Bell with my own hand. I can still feel the ring in my fingers.
Huh.
And it was just a most amazing moment because everywhere you went, there was fireworks or beautiful women. I mean, the clouds were white and the parades were fantastic. And so from Philadelphia, I hitchhiked up to New York City, where there was a radio station that I knew that if I volunteered for them, they'd find a couch for me to sleep on. And so they not only found a couch for me to sleep on, they made me a reporter for a day. And so I've had one assignment as a reporter in my life, and I got to go interview Jerry Brown, Governor Jerry
Huh.
Brown, running
California.
against Jimmy Carter to be the President of the United States. And so, that's my one radio assignment at all in life. And so that afternoon, it's now July 12th, and I'm going to go and watch the finality of these 10 days of parties. I'm on Manhattan Island. I go down to Battery Park. And as I'm standing in Battery Park, waiting for these majestic, tall ships to come down the Hudson River, just, all in full glory, just above Liberty Island, just above the outstretched torch of the Statue of Liberty, the Goodyear blimp was flying. And I'm looking at it and I go, these ships are over here. They should be right here with this. So that way I'd have all three in the same frame. So as I went with my camera, I see the blimp flying over, and I am so unhappy at that very moment with the picture I'm taking. And it is out of that irritation that this idea, the inception of the World Sky Race, was July 12th, 1976.
Hmm.
I'm at the age of 23, and I'm unemployed, obviously. I've been hitchhiking, and I don't know anybody. I don't know anyone that knows anybody. I don't have any money. And I literally was afraid of this idea because it was too big. And so for 30 years, it was just simply a daydream that I just parked away, that I kind of revisit from time to time. And I remained fearful of it in that I always thought if I ever told it to anybody, they'd go, "That's that crazy guy going down the street naked." And so I didn't want to be that person. I did not want to be that buffoon. And so, but what happened in those 20, from 23 onward, my career happened. And my career allowed me to grow and become the commissioner of the World Air League. My career prepared me for what it takes to put on a global event of this size, this magnitude. And so, all those elements of invention that became a part of my life, and that organization, that becoming an attorney, and that ability to put together businesses, those were the elements necessary to achieve what we're talking about now.
Outstanding. What a story. See, I told you all you'd like Don Hartsell here. And so let's get into what your concept is here. He's got a little PowerPoint program. There's a lot of not don't read everything there, as Don's going to talk to us about it. And by the way, you were down in Miami over the weekend at the big art thing down there.
Art Basel.
Gabriel Rothblatt was down there, our executive director. How was that?
Oh, it was excellent. I mean, it's just
What was it
absolutely
called?
the Art Basel.
Art Basel.
hmm
Yes, Art Basel.
and it's like the people we met. I mean, we're talking artists, we're talking creativity, we're talking almost all the elements it takes to think big and be big. And that is what Art Basel is about, in pulling together enthusiasm, which is necessary to do something like this. So I'm going to describe a little bit about what the World Sky Race is.
Okay,
We're
take it away there,
we're
Don.
challenging 17 cities around the world, and what they are going to be is that we're going to use their monuments, their skylines, we're going to use their vistas, and that is going to be our theater. That is going to be our stage. That is going to be our arena for the World Sky Games. And the World Sky Games, what we are going to do is we're going to be racing aerial chariots around their cities. Those aerial chariots are airships. I mean, think of how big airships are against any of these skylines. And so they blend in nicely, and they will take advantage of all the nooks and crannies and turns of every city. And we're going to be able to elevate those cities in terms of them being able to show who they are. And so this is literally the Formula One of the skies.
Yeah, there literally is right in there. Give us a little background about airships here. So those of you that, when I talked to Don, encounter here at the museum a couple months ago, yeah, I learned a lot that these are, we should be utilizing them more, I think is the way I want to say there. But you got to become an expert on them. What are we talking about here?
Well, first of all, an airship is let's make the comparison that's always out there. The comparison: airplanes, airships. Airplanes, they guzzle gas. Airships, this is a point of obviousness. Airships, they float in the air. They spend no energy to be in the air. They are taking advantage of the physics of living on this planet. And so, unlike an airplane, they do not create that additional burden on our environment. And so, an airship can move a pound or a kilogram, I don't care what language you speak, with 75% less energy than an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
And that translates into 75% less fuel, 75% less pollution, 75% less cost to do the same thing. But that is not merely the environmental savings that we're talking about. We're talking about something even larger. And that is every government in the world, while we're out there entertaining their citizens with the World Sky Games, we are going to also be educating governments on a airship does not need a road, does not need a railroad, does not need a runway, does not need a deep harbor. And so all the expansion of the global infrastructure for future commerce can be, in essence, reduced and impacted by utilizing what's obvious, floating in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're here to showcase, we're going to use the powers of entertainment and the powers of sports to create an alternative future. And so, again, we are doing this in stages in which I've just described fuel savings, environmental savings, I've just described infrastructure savings, but we're going to take it further. Prince Albert II of Monaco, he is our royal patron of the World Sky Race in Monaco. And with that, we have, with his own advice, we have the abilities to showcase what this technology can do. His family, Prince Albert II of Monaco's family, is one of the very first investors in airships more than
Awesome.
a century ago.
Mm-hmm.
More than a century ago. So he understands them, he appreciates them, he believes in them. And when he asked us, can you make them greener? It's like twisting our arm. Oh, sure. So,
Mm-hmm.
what we're going to do is we're making this a race in which it is going to be where we decarbonize the propulsion. We're going to require that every entry in this World Sky Race, the World Sky Games, that they do it without fossil fuel, meaning they can be an electric battery, they can be solar powered, they can be biofuel, they can be, in essence, anything but carbon. And we will, with that, be able to showcase how we can decarbonize our skies.
Mm-hmm.
And so this race is much larger than just simply entertainment and sports. It's all about our future.
Well, we like that. The way all kinds of racing has gotten a lot greener and cleaner. In fact, we talked about Formula One being around the world in 24 cities. They just finished their season, and next year's cars are going to be even more, dependent on batteries and less fossil fuels and that sort of thing. And But the efficiencies, what I like, Don, is the efficiencies of the airship, because you told me an interesting thing when we talked about the Hindenburg going down, and but to that point, airships were a huge part of moving goods around our country and around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that bad publicity, the Hindenburg, it just ended, right?
It,
Well,
it
to tell us the thumbnail of that little story there.
It did, and it's like, first of all, a lot of thought. I mean, after all, oh, the humanity. And we
Yeah.
do lean into it. I mean, the World Sky Race, a race for the planet, a race for humanity.
Yes.
We
Right.
do lean into it, and we do want people to realize that we have a legacy that we're going to transform into the future. And that legacy, let's go back to what they were doing in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Hindenburg, its payload capacity, 232 tons lifting capacity, extra beyond what it was doing and or needed. The
232 tons. Wow. That's 500,000 pounds.
the Antonov 124, which is the heaviest lifting aircraft in the
Yep.
world,
Russian.
150 tons.
Oh, really?
We have
Okay.
not beaten what they were doing in the 30s. And when you look at the technology, the materials, the capabilities that they had in the 30s, all we have right now that's limiting us is our imagination.
There you go. Marty, we got any comments or questions from our usual suspects watching today?
Nope.
Good.
Okay.
Hope they're enjoying this as much as I am, getting a look at the future. And also, since we are a space museum and I'm an astronomer, this type of technology is being looked at to explore Mars. The helicopter on Mars was a big success beyond what they thought it would be. Airships have been proposed in the atmosphere of Venus, and even the gas giants beyond there to be just scientific stations in there. So glad that this is a concept that's being renovated, because I missed the blockbuster, the
Yeah.
blockbuster blimp that would be up there. And those either don't know what blockbuster is, as
Yes.
time slips away, but that was the biggest video store of its time.
Yes.
Back in the, let's go through your PowerPoint here and see if we
Okay.
have any questions about what you want to propose here. We got we're talking about the event itself. You do have participants lined up, right?
Hmm.
And you're hoping to start it in the 2028 time frame?
We are. What we're looking at doing is we're looking at starting the World Sky Games, the 17 races in London on the Greenwich Prime Meridian in front of the atomic clock and at that 000 longitude where you can put your left, one foot in the Western
Mm-hmm.
Hemisphere, another foot in the Eastern Hemisphere of the Earth. We will have that grid filled with lasers. So as our airships go through the starting line, they'll all be psychedelic giants.
Okay.
And so the entertainment starts there. But we have the H9 helicopter path, which is the O2 Dome, Tower Bridge, Millennium Eye, Houses of Parliament, Big Ben. That is our arena for this aerial chariot racing. And so we will have a glorious moment. But the wonderful thing about this is within 2 weeks after the start of this race, we'll have pulled up our stakes, we'll have moved our tents, and we'll take our flying circus and race around Berlin. And so we are scheduling each of the 17 races to be 2 weeks apart, starting in September of 28, ending in May of 29. And so this is going to be a story of going from London to Paris, but it's going to be circumnavigating the globe to get to Paris. And so we'll start on the Greenwich Prime Meridian, ending on the French Prime Meridian. And in between, from Berlin, we have a stadium. It's called the Roman Coliseum that we'll be racing around. Then it's to Lagos, Nigeria. Then we have the landing rights at the Great Pyramids.
Really?
I mean, can you imagine how fantastic that is going to look?
Oh, right here's an image of it. But Marty's got a question I wanted to get in there for Don.
And Steve Holcomb is asking, Don, are the airships for the race rigid airships or blimps?
We are looking at this is a soapbox derby in the sense that anybody that has a lighter than air craft that is insurable and airworthy certified, they'll be allowed to race, and they're going to also have to do it without fossil fuel. So we don't have a whole lot of regulations here. We're here to inspire inventors to invent, investors to invest, and adventurers to compete. And in so doing, we will see the transformation of this technology from just simply a good talking point to reality.
And like you're saying, this is a great way to brand your business globally. Marty, go ahead.
There's some comments, but Father Lord is saying it would take 4 days to fly across the Atlantic in an airship. When I come to Titusville in January, it'll take 9 hours on plane.
Well, that's
That's
the
true.
way they'd like to travel. Some people want to travel fast, and other people want to travel in style.
Yeah, we got a question from Mitch Rothman. Is drafting allowed?
Is what?
Drafting.
Yes.
Drafting allowed.
I mean, if you can, let's put it this way: we're not going to limit technique at all. We're here to encourage people to be creative and if they can save their fuel by drafting, fine.
A little bit of Mad Max here, concept here.
Yes.
And you do have airships committed to this already.
Yes, we do.
You watch the video. What's your website? World Air League?
It's the world's, okay, we have 3 websites.
Okay.
And they all have a different purpose, but at the same time, they all co-join. TheWorldSkyRace.com. Then we have...
You'll see a wonderful 3-minute video there that gives this whole concept.
Then we have the World Air League, which is our organization that's putting all this together. And then we have what's going to be evolving, and that's the story of the teams and the cities. And that is skygames.buzz, B-U-Z-Z.
Okay.
Think of Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
And there you've got it.
And I'm going to share some of this on Facebook and future Stay Curious shows because I love this. And and I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Just and like for example, we got the uh, there you got the Taj Mahal.
Hmm.
So you're gonna chart a route to go around these
Yes.
world renowned monuments, which
So,
I say all the time. Our Space View Park is our Taj Mahal here,
hmm,
the only place in the world you can put your hands on 30 astronauts,
yes.
in there. But so you're going to have so many laps or
Well,
one big circuit, or what
well,
do you think?
basically, it's the 17 cities. Each one of them will be a spectacular celebration of themselves. What we will do is we'll bring our airships. They'll get to tell their story, and we will show how the whole world is connected by one horizon.
Okay.
And out of this, we're showing that this community, much of us, we look in the stars, but this is also about exploration of space, near space. And the near space is what we are operating in, and this is where we are taking the technology. And I'm here to challenge your community to be a part of this. I'm challenging this community to focus on how we can take our resources, our ingenuity, our creativity, and translate it into our future.
Excellent. Excellent. Um, let's go through your little PowerPoint here, Nick. You got some tremendous sponsors. You have been in touch with all 17 cities, obviously.
We
Got some paperwork signed and so forth. That's a lot of work.
Mhm.
Okay, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But circumnavigating the planet, they'll go to the city. What? Share with us this slide here.
All right. Here, what we have is we're going to be flying over more than 30,000 miles as we go to our various destinations around the world. Our
But you're not
sky,
going to race to each
no, no,
destination.
no,
They're going
that is going to be a story unto itself.
to.
And
Okay.
what we're doing is we're tasking them to race around the city because one, it is something that you can turn into a television event.
Oh yeah.
A 3 hour race around a city is something ideal for global broadcast. And so we are looking at how we can maximize the viewing of this. I mean, first of all, as we've planned this route, the route takes us flying over more than 2 billion people. And so I get to say this. I'm from Texas, so I'm allowed because the thing is, if you do it, you're not bragging.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and so here we are. We're flying over more than 2+ billion people. So I can say this. We're going to be the largest sporting and entertainment event seen and experienced by the largest live audiences in the entirety of the human race.
Take that, soccer fans. Which is
Ex-
pretty much the biggest
Yes.
sport
I
in
mean,
the
first of
world.
all, they're just a small subset
Yeah.
of what we're doing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like if you start adding all the sports franchises together,
Uh huh.
and get their viewership for an entire year. And FIFA, PGA, NFL, just
Baseball, whatever.
baseball, you get them all together, even including the Olympics. You might come up with 190 million people that have seen and experienced it live.
Yeah.
We're going to beat all of them combined.
Well, I can't wait. Let's hear a little more about how you're going to kick it off in Texas.
Well, what we're
Of
doing is,
course.
you know, everything that's large, you got to start out small. And I think Texas is small enough. And
There you
so
go.
what we're going to do is have a small Sky Games race around Texas and incorporate the Dallas Fort Worth area, the Austin San Antonio area, and Houston. And with that, we master a variety of things that are extremely important to major event organizations. We put together logistics management. We deal with all the political issues that are necessary to engage the political community. We are able to also, at that same time, pull in the insurance people. We're able to deal with the media people and establish our social media presence. So, a small project like this
Hmm.
gets us ready for the big one. And so, that's what it's about.
As I see your partner there, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math is what we promote here at our museum for our youth. In fact, we have our bilingual STEAM program Saturday
Hmm.
with Natalia Sepulveda that we've had a successful year at. So, how is STEAM education going to
Oh,
play in this?
first of all, since it's this is a passion project of mine. I get to actually have some influence on how it is expressed.
Imagine that. Good,
And
good.
so
I
this
know a
race
little bit about that myself.
it's designed on purpose. We have picked 17 cities every 2 weeks, September to May. That means we get to embed this in the academic school year. I mean, we've been talking about something epic, something gigantic.
Yeah.
Now we're about to add a dimension that just changes everything and makes it bigger, which is what I like.
Oh,
And that is, we will be able to supply and make available to the 59 million teachers in the world. If they go to the internet, they can download the daily lesson plans so they can walk into the classrooms and they can do something that's nothing less than spectacular and lively and fun. Where are the airships today?
yeah.
And with that, we're talking geography, history, culture, math, science,
Absolutely.
arts, the environment. And so we're looking at being able to supply to the world's next generation a bonding experience that they will share for the remainders of their lives. This will be something that they, as they meet their fellow students, the same members of their generation, they will know and be a part of having had that common educational experience. So, this is a program where it's not going to be measured in days or seconds, it's going to be measured in lifetimes and heartbeats.
Got the passion that Don has here. I think this is very exciting, folks. There, let's. Marty's got another comment there from our Stay Curious watchers.
How many airships are there worldwide? And how many will be participating in this event?
Right now, there's about close to 30 airships worldwide. And we're going to require that there's a minimum of 4 of them in this race of ours. Our hope is about a dozen. And so this is the very first World Sky Race. Now, World Sky Race number 2 will be quite different, but this is where we get our start.
All right, good. We'll talk a little bit about those airships there. There you got the London Games. You're hoping in September 2028.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Uh, and you got an IMAX film partnership, which that sounds like a logical thing to me.
Got to
Don?
tell you the name of it. The
Okay.
World Sky Race, the Clash of Titans.
Clash of Titans. All right. And IMAX documentary will focus on the whole thing there. Uh, your global outreach here. Here's where you've got some great coverage. I mean, I'm just like you all watching the layers you can lay on this with the education, and you've got them coming to London, and you could have a separate little conference going on there
Mm-hmm.
with some STEAM program about airships or whatever on there. But there's the global news coverage, which who's not there on your and you're looking up for 2 billion people to look up. Of course, your social media strategy, you're employing being on our show today.
Yes.
Okay. And do you have a all the platforms, World Sky Games, or how would we?
Well, first of all, there's going to be interactive education. I mean, first, these airships are going to be global classrooms to which even the pilots and the teams, while they're transiting from, let's say, each of the Sky Games, they then get to have the role of being teachers. They will be able to broadcast. We're going to have 3-dimensional, 360-degree cameras dangling from these airships. So the visuals that these airships are going to be able to create in real time will be spectacular. And it's like the gamification of this. I mean, we're definitely looking at how can we stimulate that gaming community to participate, learn, and excel with this technology and with this event that we're creating. So we're here to challenge people to be creative. We're not here looking for somebody that just sits around in the back room just doing nothing. We're wanting people around the world to come out and connect.
Of course, the economic impact here. Speak about that a little bit there. You can, of course, brand yourself with this, but there's going to be a lot of vendors, a lot of just merchandise that you're
Mhm.
going to be promoting, as well as every restaurant and hotel is going to be filled, we hope, at these areas.
Well, this is one of the reasons why we have selected as our first area for engagement, and that is ministers of tourism. We have found that ministers of tourism around the world are our white knights. They are the ones wanting to create an epic spectacle for their country, for their nation, for their citizens, and also those tourists to come in and spend money. So this is going to be an economic development capacity for each of those selected cities to be on our race route. We're going to actually have them competing. And one of the ways that we're going to make them compete will only increase our story altogether. We're going to post the World Sky Race Sky Games prize, $5 million. And then we're
Yeah, I
going
didn't want to mention that there is a prize, okay, to win the Sky
Mm.
Games, $5
Well-
million.
Well, it does. That's where it starts, because with each of our Sky Game cities, they are going to be challenged through social media to raise their own prize representing their own Sky Game race. So we're looking at probably $5 million for each of those cities. So the total prizes for the World Sky Games is going to be anywhere between 90 and $140 million.
Wow. That's crazy. There, we
And
talked about the educational outreach there, with STEAM and so forth, renewable energy, all kinds of teacher resources, harnessing the power of artificial intelligence. How does that play into your Sky
Well,
Games, Don?
first of all, the educational component. I mean, we're going to be creating educational content literally on the fly. And I say all my puns intended.
Right. Okay.
And so with AI, we're going to be able to supply those 59 million teachers relevant content relevant to ages, such that as we're over the Taj Mahal, or we're over Bangor, or we're over any number of things, the stories that we can generate will be appropriate for those age groups, and that's what those teachers are going to be able to access and be able to download. We're planning on this being where we make the lives for teachers easy and inspiring at the same time.
Awesome. And hope you're enjoying this conversation with Don Hartsell. Become a new friend of the museum and mine here, with this wonderful World Air League concept there that's going to, the race will hopefully start in 2028. And good chance of this happening more than Artemis in a way. Hope I didn't say that. But it's and you've got one key astronaut involved with this. We'll show you in a minute here. Marty, you got a question or comment?
Yeah, I got a question again. I'm assuming that these airships are owned by corporations, not private citizens.
Well-
If so, what's in it for them?
Corporations, this is nothing but branding. I mean, it's like their story is going to be embedded in this race around the world. And depending on that corporation and what their mission is and who their stakeholders are, as we travel, it is going to be always implicit that that corporation was the sponsor, the patron of that particular airship. And so their stories will be very much interwoven in the tapestry of what we are creating. And that is not simply a blip on a TV screen or just a little, quarter-inch ad in a magazine. This is going to be a part of a growing experience for the world. So it means a whole lot more for their engagement. There will be wealthy individuals, we have no doubt, that are going to want to participate in this. After all, airships are as big as anybody's ego can get.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
so we're going to see those that want to come out, shine, and show. And so what a race is all about, you just go back to horse racing. It's either win, place, or show. Somewhere they all benefit.
There you go. How much are these airships cost? What round numbers? I know you can go
Okay.
from
You can go
the-
from 5 million, you can go to 30 million, and then you can say, I'm going to win it. And the sky is not the limit there.
Mhm.
So it's really going to be
Do you
up.
have some specifications like horsepower or something
Not
like
at
that
all.
on it?
It's going to be up to them to figure out how to win this thing.
Oh,
And so, I mean, this is a soapbox derby,
yeah,
and
well, or a road rally of
yeah,
sorts in
and
there.
what we're going to
Take your
come,
Lamborghini or Ferrari
Mhm.
or
or your
soup up
Honda.
a Honda,
Uh-huh.
a Cam. Yeah, I was gonna say yeah, soup up a Thunderbird or something. Take it there, a Honda. Okay.
And so our goal, it comes right down to, you can't use fossil fuel. You have to be insurable. You have to have an air certification, and you have to have your pilot crews in accordance with the regulations that are expected of good pilots.
How many crew are going to be going around with a typical ship? You think
Typical, I
five or
see it.
10 or
Well,
25?
the cabin crew will be typically three, maybe four
Uh huh.
people, but the support
Support.
crew, we're probably looking at about 50 people.
Wow.
Behind all that, I mean, just get all the logistics, all the management, all the maintenance, all the support staff, and their PR people,
Hmm.
everyone around that. It's probably about 50. So that puts us in the same category as a Formula One team. That puts us in the same category
Yeah.
that goes
Right.
into a Tour de France team, in the same category as an America's Cup contender. So we're no different in that
Okay.
regards as far as what it takes to do this. But what it takes to do this is that special person that says, I'm an adventurer.
And there's plenty of those out
Hmm.
there in our beautiful world here today. Uh, this slide, internships and youth
Oh,
engagement.
this is one of the cool parts about this. And again, getting to design things, we're going to require that of the 17 Sky Game cities, that their administration of their participation in this, that at least 10% of their workforce will be interns. We're going to use this race as a way to connect the professional careers of thousands and thousands of students getting ready to move into the workforce around the world. We could be talking about engineering. We could be talking about data management. We could be talking about governmental administration. We could be talking about hospitality. And so each and every one of the
There's a
Sky.
lot of international law strikes
Yes,
me
yes.
involved in
I
this.
mean, this is literally
Hmm.
where we give to the world a working means to
Hmm.
be on their resume. The first line in their resume is, I helped change the world. And this is my approach.
Yeah.
This is my approach to them. You're going to work hard. You're going to spend long hours on this. This is going to be more fun than you've ever had before. And at the end of the day, we're going to fire you.
Tell you to go find another job there
We're,
in there.
yes.
All right, let's couple diplomatic and institutional partnerships. Of course,
Mhm.
that's the goodwill around the world created. What is that?
The Federation
Those
Aeronautics Center.
towers are in Kuala is that
That's the Kuala Lumpur towers, the Petronas towers in Kuala Lumpur.
right? Hmm.
And when the Civil Aviation Department in Malaysia asked me, "Can you fly through those between them?" and I said, "We could, but we're not going to."
It's not a field goal
Yeah,
in
exactly.
there, but yeah, you don't want to just and also let's throw this out there. People are going to learn a lot about the weather.
Hmm.
Okay,
Absolutely. I mean,
because
first of all,
yeah,
I mean, we're competing, but Mother Nature controls.
yeah, there you go, in there. Um, tourism and impact travel, such like this. What's that location you're going to fly around? I
Well,
don't. What
that's
is that? Abu Dhabi?
that's Singapore.
Oh, that's Singapore.
That is
Okay.
Singapore, and
Wow.
it's a glorious city, and great food too.
Great
And
food.
so,
Here's some of your global advisors, patrons, and friends there. Wow, you've got the Prince Albert of Monaco there, a well-known supporter of aviation. And on the other side there, Kathy Sullivan, who was the under the Obama administration, she was over the national aeronautic. She's over the oceanographic.
mhm.
She's an oceanographer That's a good one to have on board there.
The
Over
way I
your head there is, if you've watched any archaeology in Egypt, that gentleman above your head there is the world-renowned archaeologist there. What's
Here, let me
yeah,
move my head.
Z-
There, Dr. Zahi.
yeah, uh-huh, and uh, on and on.
Well,
Tell us who's
what I love
supporting.
about Kathy Sullivan is we describe her as the Hubble Space Telescope repairwoman. And she is also the deepest diving woman ever. So she is Mariana's Trench deep.
Right. Yes.
And so she
She did
has
a
from
spacewalk,
it,
not on the Hubble though,
no,
but she still was the first American woman to do a spacewalk.
yes.
Flew with Sally Ride, first two women in space
Hmm.
on there. But yeah, she's awesome. That's a great person to have supporting this because she'll bring a lot with us there. And good, we got a lot of people. Good, appreciate everybody watching today. Marty just handed me the list. We'll read off here, including the World Olympic Council's watching,
Okay.
and George Cummings. Maybe that's in your camp.
George is a good friend of ours.
Good,
He's
good.
in Cozumel, Mexico on this day.
Awesome. Glad that you're watching us today, George, along with some of our regulars like Carlton Bailey's just about 15 miles from here, and Canaveral Groves. Robert Laws up in Dundee, Scotland. How'd you like to go down to London there and watch this race going on, Robert? I'm sure he will when it happens. Doug Forrest is in Los Angeles. He's in the business there in the Hollywood CGI world. Tom Usiak's in Pennsylvania. M.K. Tibby's. Is that
Tribute.
one Tribby's? Is that one of your people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we're going to tell Mitch Rothman, one of our great supporters, Gary Gerald. Gary's our Vidalia onion farmer in Georgia
Okay.
in there. So go ahead, Marty, with a question.
How safe is it flying with these airships?
Well,
Because
air-
you didn't want to go through the goalpost.
no, no. Airships are literally the safest form of aviation. They these days they travel with inert gases, and their records in terms of problems and accidents are minuscule by comparison to airplanes. And so there's been
Inert gas is one that's not flammable.
right. I mean,
Okay, want to point that out.
helium is number 2 on the periodic chart. Hydrogen's number 1. Hydrogen's extremely explosive, whereas helium is inert, and it's called a noble gas because it doesn't combine with anything. And out of that, we're using that particular element, which most people they'll ask the question, well, don't we have a shortage? Actually, what we have is a shortage of production, not a shortage of helium.
Okay.
And so the issue is how to better conserve our resources. So there's another aspect of environmentalism out of our creation of this race, and that is almost all natural gas that's produced on our planet has an element, a trace element of helium, some with higher concentrations than others. But as the gas production of the world is modernized in order to capture that helium, that elusive element, we will see many benefits. Like right now, we see all kinds of methanes and other gases being released during natural gas production. This will shut that down because as we go after helium, we capture everything else. And so that's an aspect of this that is just one of the ripples in the pond of economic development that this will stimulate. Modernization of gas production globally.
Very interesting there. See, I think y'all know Don knows what he's talking about, and he's backing it up with a lot of the right facts and figures and so forth, and that's why I'm on board for all this. Marty, go ahead.
Yeah, Carlton Bailey is asking, will each airship have their own rescue boat, rescue crew that follows underneath them in case something happens?
Not likely. However, when I was meeting with Admiral Meia of the Portuguese Armed Services, commander of the Portuguese fleet, the Armada, when I described to him that we were organizing the circumnavigation of the world by airships, I said the right word in Portuguese, circumnavigation. And with that, he said, how can we help? And he then said that the Portuguese Navy will be our safety net for crossing the Atlantic Ocean. So I get to simply say, I have a Navy.
Wow, you got the Portuguese Navy going to follow these airships across there. Very, very interesting because they're not going to deflate them, put them in a box,
No.
ship them over in a crate, and then do them again. They're going to
Well,
fly.
there's no real engineering proof in that. I mean,
Okay.
our goal is to demonstrate and with that showcase. So it's like we'll race around cities, but we will take our transiting time to make certain our story is seen and heard as we go over the world. And that's going to include flying over more than 130 UNESCO World Heritage Sites.
This is a huge, huge progress there. There's your global partners. Let's look at some of these to pull this off. Prince Albert, okay, Monaco. What a huge and you've talked with him and dined with him probably and
Yes,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
I mean,
Seems like a pretty common guy for be such a exalted ruler of the smallest what do they call it? The smallest principality in the
yes.
world. Yeah.
Well, Prince Albert comes from a family of visionaries. And I know him through the Explorers Club. And he, like his grandfather, members of the Explorers Club. And with that, he is committed to being an environmentalist that will make our world greener and better. Our goal with Prince Albert is to be able to show how what his family's been investing in for more than a century, how it can be a useful means for keeping our skies green, making our skies decarbonized. And so we're lucky. I mean, we're honestly lucky. I mean, I'm honored that he is a part of this. We have Dr. Bertrand Piccard of the Solar Impulse.
Okay.
Dr. Bertrand Piccard flew the Solar Impulse plane around the world, showing that we could fly just using solar energy alone. And before that, he was the pilot with Brian uh, Jones on the Breitling orbiter. So he's the first to circumnavigate the globe in a balloon. So he is renowned, and he comes from a renowned family of explorers.
How about Walter Monk
Walter Monk,
Foundation?
oh golly, Walter Monk, that man is the man who developed the weather forecasting for the oceans. And so he delivered to Dwight Eisenhower on D-Day the weather forecast for the waves
Wow.
on D-Day. Walter Monk lived to the age of 102, but he is still an advisor.
Interesting there. Well, I'm going to highlight your other ones here. The McGill.
McGilvery Freeman.
Okay.
McGilvery Freeman, they are the largest producers, documentary producers of IMAX movies. Their
Okay.
box offices total more than $1 billion. And so they are going to be able to capture our story in the most epic format possible, and that is IMAX. And I mean, we believe in big, and it doesn't
Yeah.
get bigger.
Scripps Oceanography.
We have them as part of our research, our science side, and we haven't discussed that a whole lot. But I mean, this is a story that has so many facets to it. It's a kaleidoscope that every time you turn the little turn on the kaleidoscope is just as interesting as the last one.
Yeah, that
And that's
goes
what
very
this is. And then we have Dr. Sylvia Earle, Mission Blue. Oh, wow. She lights up every
Dr.
room.
Sylvia Earle.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
She lights up every room that she walks into. She was designated by Time magazine as the first hero of the planet. She is that kind of environmentalist. She is that kind of researcher. She is that kind of important person to us all. And so we're lucky. I
Well,
mean,
that's an amazing group of global partners. Absolutely. Connecting the dots globally again. Now, these are more institutions we're familiar with. Some we are, some you're not. But what a you've got the right elements there, Don. You got you know, the science, the philanthropy. You got the dreamers, the explorers club. Yeah, this is a great job. How long has it taken you to develop this arsenal, if you will, of support?
Well, for 30 years, this was a daydream. And so I've officially put my hat in the ring.
July 12th,
Mhm.
1976.
Yes. And so for 30 years, it was a daydream. And so when I officially started this was 2006, and I've learned every way you shouldn't do this.
Okay.
And so I am that 20-year in the making overnight success.
My
And
gosh.
but the thing is, dedication, perseverance is what it takes. And if you believe in something, you don't let it stop you. The fact that somebody has not responded correctly or positively, instead you push on.
Hmm.
And that's the something I need for children around the world to know, that they can persevere and carry on.
Well, hope that you're inspired like me. The call to action is to how can we support you at the ground level?
Well, I'm here to challenge your community in every way. You have philanthropists, you have investors, you have adventurers, you have people that are in the advertising world, you have people in the event planning world, you have many members of your community, you have the science side of it. Every one of them has something in their own passions that they can add to this, because this is going to be a collective circus of us all. We're all going to be under this big tent, and it's called our atmosphere, our earth.
Yeah.
And so every Tuesday, we have what we call the Global Hour of Power. And that is a gathering of people that come to our Zoom meeting. And with that, I'm going to say what my email is. And if you will ask me by your email for the link to it, I will send you the link to joining us tomorrow. And at the time that we do it, it's in Texas, it's high noon, whereas it's 1 p.m. here in Eastern time. And around the world, you'll have to adjust your time zones accordingly. But please join us at Tuesday, noon, Texas time, or your time, but the same time.
And I have. I've done it a couple times there. I was kind of blown away at the people all over the world on this. Your power hour. Again, if you want to get on that, your email is
Don Hart. Okay, let me give it to you specifically. DRH at worldskyrace.com. I'll spell it WORLDSKYRACE, worldskyrace.com.
DRH at worldskyrace.com. I'll promote that for you there. Of course, our show's after that on Tuesday, but we'll put some of this on Facebook. But we're going to, you regulars, Stay Curious watchers, and there's a good 20 of you already on this list here today. Let us know what you think about this. Steve Jokums, he's up there at what we call the Lake County, he calls Lake County Spaceport up in Fox Lake, Illinois, where he's got a business that does decals and for modeling and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Thell is up there. Thank you, Mark, for watching today. Mostly Parked. Dean Babcock. Michael Bruno. Michael lives down in Miami. I don't know if he went to that event down there or not. Metter Lander watching today. RG Jubilee. Rosalie. What do you think? Would you like to ride a big airship like this, Rosalie?
She already said she does, or she would like to.
Oh, does she? Okay.
All right.
Dave Stangy up there. And are you going to Australia?
Not on this race,
Okay.
unless they speak loudly.
Okay.
Well,
we've got
and so
Cliff Watson, who's a great friend of ours down in Pomona, Australia. Cliff is in on the east side, of course, where all the things are there. So, Cliffy, glad that you're watching there, and I was hoping you'd go over Perth or something like that.
well, World Sky Race number 2,
All right.
North Pole, South Pole, North Pole.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow, that'd be interesting there.
So, but we got to get through World Sky Race number 1 first.
There you go. Exactly. And you're hoping to start this in 2028. Okay. And it's just I'm excited about it. What are the American or North American venues?
Okay. We come in through the Bering Strait, cross the Aleutian Isles into Anchorage. We come down the Pacific coast to San Francisco. And another part of NASA being of this was, Pete Warden with NASA Ames. And so we were looking at Moffett Field in San Francisco. We're going to continue on down the 101, the Pacific Coast Highway, or the 5, and we'll make a left-hand turn about the time we get to San Diego. At
Okay.
which point we'll be able to go through those lower mountain passes that takes us to where I live, Texas.
Okay.
And so from there, it's Dallas or Houston, and I'm partial to them both, and I just want one of them to be better than the other, but I
Okay.
don't know which one.
Okay.
Then we're looking at the Statue of Liberty, New York City. And so from there, it's crossing the big pond, and that's going to be through where we are getting so much heartbeats and support. That's Bermuda. And so we will go from New York to Bermuda,
Oh, wow.
then to the Azores, then on to Lisbon, where we have a Navy. And then our last sprint is from Lisbon to Versailles Palace. And so we conclude the race at Versailles Palace, where the Montgolfier brothers launched the very first hot air balloon. So mankind's first
I've
step.
seen a famous picture of that, a painting.
Yes,
The what are the brothers' name?
Montgolfier.
Yeah, Montgolfier. I always wondered how that was pronounced
And,
there.
and and so they launched the very first hot air balloon
That's
there.
so neat.
And
All right.
so this is what we get to say. This is our soundbite. We get to end where it began.
There you go, where airships began. Well, I can see a few cruise ships maybe wanting to book and to follow you guys or
There will,
something like
I mean,
that.
let's put it this way: everyone's imagination. We're here to get it to be stimulated because this is
Yeah.
creative and this is connective and this is to make our world a better place.
The speed of an airship is like what? Not even 5 miles an hour?
Well, let's see. The Hindenburg with a good tailwind could do 180 miles an hour.
Oh, all right.
With a
Okay.
good tailwind.
All right.
And, you get a good headwind, they might stand still. I don't know. But as it is, what's available, and this is why we're here in the space community. It's my understanding that they are now developing new energy sources like plastic based rocket fuels. And we